you and Micah Parsons. Can you share with us how the game played out with you and him?
I mean, just two football players want to win a game. He's a great player, but I won't speak too much on that. That was last week. But yeah, I think we all saw it.
Brandon, that was obviously your first playoff game. What was the experience like? And leading into it, how much did you lean on some of your guys who've been through it and in some of those big games previously?
Yeah, first one, it was awesome. Just the environment, the whole entire week leading up to it, especially the team we were playing, and that being the Cowboys with the history between us and them. So it was very exciting. But just talking to a bunch of guys, talking to Kyle, talking to other guys in our Juice, I should say, Juice, other guys who played in those games, but just telling me it's another game, but just worth everything. So not too much had to be said. It was exciting. It was easy to wake up for, easy to wake up throughout the week, and even more so this week.
Brandon, Mike McDaniel's, talked about the importance of just explaining things to you guys so that way, it's not just telling you to do something, like, the reason behind it. How important is it to have a coaching staff that makes it clear, like, hey, this is why you're blocking, gives you sort of the insight behind it? What is that sort of like?
I think that's been huge, especially this year. It's been a lot different out there, and wanting to get your assignment done, but also knowing the reason behind it for why your job is what it is, what you need to do, them telling you what you need to get done and why you need to get it done. So it just makes it a lot easier playing the game for each other. It makes it easier for you to get people open. It makes it easier for you to help out your teammates when you know exactly what they're doing and what you're doing your assignment for.
And obviously the week 3 game was a very different time for you and for the team. When you look back at that game and the strides you've made over the season, what stands out to you the most?
A lot. We watched that game. I've watched that game over. But just the difference between, because I think I watched the Sunday's game, or the Dallas game on Sunday, and then I watched the Packers game from week 3 on Monday. And just everybody across the board, just myself, I feel like I was watching the strides, just everything just feels a lot different, looks a lot different. The whole entire unit, offensive unit, just looks a lot better. We all move as one, and just the growth has been crazy just to watch. But we know that we weren't the team that we are now in week 3. But at the same time, we also understand that we have to play that way on Saturday. So, yeah.
Hey, Brandon, Mike McDaniel is obviously a very well-respected coach. He's, interviewing for the Dolphins for their head coaching position, but he's, different in many ways from coaches. Just his personality is a little offbeat. He's not afraid to show his humor. Is he like that with you guys? And I guess, how would you describe him, just as a guy?
McDaniel you're talking about? Yeah, I think once you start to understand him, you start to realize and just see his character and how he is. I think last year I didn't really understand him too much, so sometimes I'll be like, what is he talking about? What is he saying? Is that a joke? Is he being serious? I didn't really know. But this year, talking to him a lot more and getting to know him a lot more, he's a great dude to talk to. Somebody I really trust, somebody I enjoy talking to.
These last 3 for Brandon?
A lot's changed for you guys, obviously, since week 3. What have you seen differently that the Packers might be doing defensively since that game?
Well, we know who they are on defense. We know, we talked about them being a little bit of a mix between LA and Dallas. We're going to get some looks that we've got in the past 2 weeks. So I think it's more about us and how we, in our room, how we run, and not even just our room, just the offense in general, just everybody being on their keys, knowing exactly what to do, and just moving as one. So, like I said, I feel like it's more us than them. And if we do that, I feel like we'll be in great shape.
Yeah, Brandon, of all the positions on the field, wide receiver would seem to be the toughest one to play in bitter cold. So I'm curious as to your experience with that. I don't know if I imagine there was a lot of it at Arizona State, but how do you plan to combat it? Will you wear gloves? I mean, what's your strategy in playing in cold weather?
Well, I mean, before I went to Arizona State, I played football in Reno, Nevada. So at the end of the day, we got to put the ball down and play football. We'll go out there, whether we're not sure exactly what the weather's going to be, whether we have to change the cleats, change out certain things. But we're just going out there expecting to play a football game, and we'll go from there. However the weather acts, however we need to go about it, we'll just adjust and go from there. But right now, we're just expecting to go down there and play a football game. We know we know it's going to be cold, but other than that, it's still football that needs to be played on Saturday.
Brandon, you talked about the environment, how cool it was in Dallas, and just going into the playoffs. What are you expecting to be playing a playoff game in Lambeau? What that atmosphere is going to be like? And have you ever been awestruck going into a stadium and just kind of pinching yourself?
Well, it's going to be awesome. Talking to Wes earlier in the week, he just talks about just even the history that we have with this team too as well. So we're going over to a historic stadium, playing them on Saturday night, a playoff game at Lambeau versus the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, all of them. So we already know what type of game that's going to be. The atmosphere is going to be very exciting. But like I said, it's football. I haven't walked into a stadium yet where I've been struck. But I do look around and just take it all in and just get excited and just stand where my feet are and just look around and just enjoy it and then go play football.